Good afternoon. Welcome to our live stream. This is our weekly lesson. Every week, I have a new lesson for you based on another topic. Our topic this week is Greek mythology. So if you are looking for a place that you can come to on a regular basis, hopefully weekly, to discuss different topics, to learn vocabulary, idioms, phrasal verbs, to be part of a nice English speaking community, a community of people who are all non-native speakers, then I welcome you with all of my heart and soul. So yeah, I'm English with Jenn 123, as you can see floating around here. Go ahead and follow this account. Every week I offer you a lesson on Wednesdays. On Tuesdays, a quiz based on the topic that we have for the week. And I offer you a conversation. I offer you practice for your pronunciation in the video section with a story and something for you to be able to do every week. Hey, Alessio, welcome. Nice to have you on board, and several others. Like I said, we are doing Greek mythology this week. And I have 4 different stories. So we'll learn vocabulary, read the story, and then do idioms and questions and polls and all kinds of fun things. I try to make these lessons as interactive as possible because I think if you're having a good time, I'm having a good time, this is a great way to learn. No one should have to suffer through a lesson. Hello, Yuki. Hello, Kaluna. Welcome to you today. All right, so here you see down here again, my account. So if you don't already follow me, make sure you do so that you can find me again. And I will pop up our really quickly here. This will be our homework this week. I will share this in the comments afterwards. This is the homework challenge, where these are some phrasal verbs and vocab words and whatnot, and idioms typically, in this case as well, where you can either turn them into a little story or write definitions, but these are things that I pick out to give you that extra practice, because really everybody always asks me, how can I learn English? How can I learn this language? It's practice. It's not sexy. It's not fun. It's not like, ooh, take this pill and you'll be great. It's really is about practicing. So if you come back in a couple of days and take a look at the words and stuff and really give them a shot, then I guarantee you, you will start learning and come regularly here. I see with everybody that comes here, their English is getting better. So and the words this week will be the lesser of 2 evils. We will cover these in this lesson as well. So if you're like, huh? What on earth does that mean? Stick around. Pretend and also break down. These will be the words that will be part of your homework challenge. So let's see. Hello, Lorena. So welcome to everyone who's able to make it today. Here is our first slide for today. Or actually, let's do this. Oops, sorry. Hold on. Let me go back here. Some of you know a lot about Greek mythology, and some of you don't. So let's see. Let's give ourselves 2 minutes. Anything that you know about the Minotaur and the Labyrinth. And even if you want to explain what a labyrinth is, if you don't know the story. Hello, Hitoko, dear. To my Japanese friends, I'm so happy you're safe. I heard today that there was a big earthquake. I'm very happy to hear that nobody in our community was affected by that. And it seems like nobody in Japan, or not many people, were affected. So that's good news. Yeah, so what can you tell me about the Minotaur and the Labyrinth? You can describe the beast, you can describe what a labyrinth is, you can talk about the story, or you can simply say, I don't know. I have no idea. Let's find out together. So, and I have to say again that this is a lesson that I had to prepare for a lot. I know these stories, but I don't know these stories. And so a lot of this we're learning together, especially because some of you really do have a good feeling for these different stories. So I'm always happy to hear what you have to say. And yeah, so anything you could tell tell me the Minotaur reminds me of the island of Crete. Yeah. And Lorraine, I'm actually surprised because it feels like several of these stories are related to Crete. So, or that a lot of this comes from the Cretan culture. I saw a really interesting video where they compared Indian gods to ancient Greek gods and how many of them had things in common. And it seems that so the video was suggesting that the Greek gods actually came from the Indian culture. And then they were like, because Alexander the Great went to India at some point, I guess, but these stories have been around, were around before that time. So I thought that was kind of interesting, a little controversy. Where does Greek mythology come into play? And it's interesting that some of these overlap. I know the Romans took on some of the Greek characters and changed the names. I don't know, Minotaur, okay. A labyrinth seems like a lot of confusing paths. Exactly. To be honest, I have no idea, but I'm learning a lot of stuff. All right. Okay. So very cool. So yeah, you don't know Minotaur, but you know Labyrinth. So a labyrinth is a complicated, well, we'll learn the word right now. Let me pull up the slide. So let me push myself over to here, and I hope you can all see this okay. I'm afraid to touch anything on my screen because I can actually read your comments pretty well. So no idea, but all the names are difficult to pronounce too, for sure. I am struggling. So Minotaur, that does not come out of my mouth so easily. I didn't know that there was a relation between Indian gods and Greek. Yeah, Lorena, I saw a reel today. I will have to see if I can find it maybe in my history, and I'll share it in my stories if you like on Instagram, because I was really surprised. And I don't know if I'm not a scholar of this, obviously. I've been reading about this for the past couple of days to prepare for this lesson. But time-wise, it doesn't really match up. But they have a god that also deals with thunder and lightning. I'll try to find it for you, Lorena. I'll try to find that video. All right, so here we have our vocabulary words. We have pray, disrespect, ashamed. And with this word, it's not ashamed, it's ashamed, ashamed. You really have this and then shamed. And Lorraine, let me write that down because you do know that I have the memory of Dory. So let's see. So Lorena, a video about Indian versus Greek mythology. Well, I guess that's a religion more. Hello, Renee. Welcome to you, dear. Ashamed, trapped, maze. Trapped, maze. Maze. A place where many paths that is hard to escape. A place with many paths that is hard to escape. B, to speak to a god and ask for something. C, to feel bad or guilty about something. D, to be stuck and unable to get out. And E, to be rude or not show respect. So I have my first answers coming in for one, pray. And everyone's saying B, which is totally correct. 1B, to speak to a god and ask for something. So we had that yesterday where Midas prayed and he begged for, who was it? Shoot, now I'm losing it. I think it was Poseidon. No, it wasn't Poseidon. Who was it? Dionysus, where the king Midas asked for Dionysus to be able to make it so that everything that he touched turned to gold. So he prayed for that. He asked for that. He begged for that. Exactly. All right. Then let's see. Number 2, what have we got for number 2? Thank you everyone for sharing your thoughts, for your answers. What do we have for disrespect? Alessio's going with E. Who agrees with Alessio? 2E? What can you tell me? Kaluna, Yuki, okay. So lots of people going for E, so these are pretty easy words then. All right, to disrespect, E, to be rude or not show respect, to disrespect someone. C, 3, ashamed. What can you tell me for number 3? Hi, Leah, darling. Welcome. So what can you tell me for ashamed? And I'll say that word a couple more times just because the pronunciation is a little not, it's just not very logical somehow. Ashamed, ashamed. So everyone's saying 3 is C, which is what I said earlier, because yes, can't keep a secret, I guess. Ashamed is 3, C, to feel bad or guilty about something. You can feel ashamed. I feel so ashamed. I can't believe I did that. You feel really bad about doing something. And then 4, we have trapped. What can you tell me for number 4? Trapped. I saw this little thing you can get where you put this little black sort of medallion on your neck and you have a cable, and every time you hunch over, I think it shocks you or something. I think I want to get that because I notice I'm like always doing this. So I'm going to try to keep my posture because it's just not very attractive. Everyone is saying 4 is D. So trapped, D, to be stuck and unable to get out. And last but not least, you're right, Miss Yuki. We've got 5 is a place with many paths that is hard to escape. So a labyrinth is a maze. So it's hard to get out. And I think that like in France, in the Renaissance, they would create labyrinths. They would create gardens that were like mazes. And you could go through all these, well, the wealthy people did, the poor people didn't, but the wealthy people created maze-like gardens, just to give you an idea of that. Okay. So these are our vocab words: disrespect, ashamed, trapped, and maze. And here is our story. For those of you who joined later on, this is the story of the Minotaur and the Labyrinth. Okay, here we go. A long time ago, King Minos of Crete wanted to prove that the gods supported him. He prayed to Poseidon, the god of the sea, to send him a special bull. Like, so the animals like in Spain with the horns, right? He wanted a special bull as a sign to be able to show everyone that he was in good with the gods. Poseidon sent a beautiful white bull. But Minos disrespected the god by keeping the bull instead of sacrificing it. Sacrificing might be a word we need to cover. Hello, Michaela, dear. Perfect timing for our story. I'm going to write down sacrifice just to make sure. And if any of you know, actually, let's do this. This is a word that maybe not everybody knows. If you know the word, you can also use this moment to write a definition for it, or I will go over it in a minute and you can just listen to the story as you like. So, all right, so Minos disrespected the gods by keeping the bull instead of sacrificing it. To punish him, Poseidon made Minos's wife fall in love with the bull. From this, a strange creature was born. So the bull and his wife had a creature, and it was the Minotaur. It was half man and half bull. So the upper part, the torso, all of that was man, and then the stomach and the back part of it was bull. Minos was ashamed and trapped the Minotaur in a giant maze called the Labyrinth. Later, Athens was forced to send young people to Crete to be sacrificed by the Minotaur. A brave prince named Theseus wanted to stop this. With help from Ariadne, Minos' daughter, he entered the labyrinth and killed the Minotaur and found his way out by using a ball of string. So he had the string that he like walked into the maze, and he was able to find his way out because he could just follow the thread, the yarn or whatever it was, to get out. Sacrifice, in the story seems like an offering. Exactly, Kaluna. Yes. So to make a sacrifice, to offer something. So he was supposed to kill the bull, and he didn't. So then Poseidon punished him. The god of the sea punished him for being so disrespectful. How much of the story did you understand? Any words that were kind of like, something like that, I don't know. And opportunity for you to tell me what you know about the story, what you learned about the story. Any sort of, it doesn't have to be a long thing if you don't like, you can just say some sort of element in the story just to practice and to be able to participate. So I think this is an interesting story. It's very hard to say the princess's name. So yeah, Hitoko, this is one of those that I struggle with greatly. Ariadne, I think is her name. Yes, so 60 to 70%. Okay, Yuki, then let's get the story down pat and I will read it again. Well, let's cover it. Maybe tell me, Yuki, and for those others out there who are able to right now, I know some of you listen and try to participate in very light ways because you're doing other things. But whatever you can think of, let's piece the story together. 70%, I kind of lost to understand the start. Yeah. I get that. And there's a lot of characters. So we have King Minos of Crete. Okay. We have Poseidon, the god of the sea. We have then the Minotaur. What was it? Sorry. Then we have Minos's wife, who had a baby with the bull, and then that was called the Minotaur. And then we had the brave prince from Greece, Theseus, and because they had a deal where every, I think 7 years or something like that, there was a certain amount of time where they had to send a certain number of girls and boys to be eaten by the Minotaur. And so this Greek prince wanted to stop this. He felt it was unjust. A lot of difficult names, not a familiar topic, makes most me difficult. Yes, okay, so let's go through it, and then I think it will be a little bit easier. So there's a Greek king who felt that this was totally unfair, that they would have to give up their citizens, their young citizens, every several years, let's say, I don't know the exact number. And then with the help of King Minos's daughter, Ariadne, then she helped him by giving him a big ball of thread or yarn or something so he could walk into the labyrinth and then follow his way back out of the labyrinth again. So she kind of went against her dad to try to help this Greek prince. Sacrifice meaning butchering an animal as an offering to God. Exactly. Okay, I will read it once more because maybe now that we've talked a little bit about the names, it will be easier to understand. I totally get these are all new characters, or a lot of them are new folks here, and it's a lot to take in. Okay, long time ago, King Minos of Crete wanted to prove that the gods supported him. He prayed to Poseidon, the god of the sea, to send him a special bull as a sign. Poseidon sent a beautiful white bull, but Minos disrespected the god by keeping the bull instead of sacrificing it. To punish him, Poseidon made Minos's wife fall in love with the bull. From this, a strange creature was born, the Minotaur, half man and half bull. Let's see. Minos was ashamed and trapped the Minotaur in a large maze called the Labyrinth. So he was embarrassed that his wife had this creature with a bull. I mean, that's the ultimate sort of shame, I guess, for anyone. I know, what a story. And now it's 80. Okay, good, Yuki. Okay, good. So he trapped this Minotaur, half man, half bull, inside a labyrinth. And then and the situation was such that then they had to send, so later Athens was forced to send young people to Crete. So to the island Crete from the mainland in Greece. I guess it wasn't Greece back then, but from Athens, they had to send a certain number of girls and a certain number of boys to sacrifice for the Minotaur, and a brave Greek prince named Theseus wanted this to stop. He felt it was ridiculous to have to lose Greek people for this reason, because of this guy's mistake and his shame. So with the help of Minos's, I don't know if it's Minos or Minos, I think, Minos's daughter Ariadne, he entered the labyrinth, killed the Minotaur, half man, half bull, and found his way out by using a ball of string. So she gave him this big ball of string. He walked into the maze, into the labyrinth, found the Minotaur, doof, 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 by Minotaur, and then he followed the string out of the maze, so he was able to free himself. So yes, and this ended the cruel tradition, and he returned home a hero. Ta-da! So yeah, it's quite a story. It's quite a story. Minotaur or Centaur doesn't equal. Oh, I have no idea. Oh my gosh, Iki, I have no idea. Let me look it up, because I know I've heard the word Centaur, but I don't know. I don't know if it was a Centaur. I don't know if this Minotaur is a Centaur or if that's something totally different. So let me try to ignore for 15 more minutes. I have no idea. Good question. Let's ask the bot really quickly, the robot. Difference between, or maybe if somebody knows, they can let us know, between Minotaur and Centaur, I think. Centaur. I've misspelled it, but it will correct me. Centaur, not Centaur. Sorry about that. All right, so thank you for the effort in making, oh, you're so sweet, Kalina. I hope this helped. The history is about punishment, guilt, love, intelligence, and freedom. Yeah, very well summed up. Thank you, Lorena. So Minotaur and Centaur are both, sorry, I keep messing that up, are both mythological creatures from ancient Greek mythology, but they are very different in appearance and origin. So a Minotaur is half body with, oh, I mixed it up. Oh, I totally mixed it up. Hold on. So a Minotaur is a human body. I totally mixed this. Hey, Carmen, darling. I'm glad you like the topic. So yes, this is actually, let me pull myself over to here. See, I told you I don't know anything about this. So call me out. Let's learn together. Right. Okay. So a Minotaur has the head of a man. No, sorry, the head of a bull and the body of a human. I don't know why this guy has these kind of legs then, but we're going to just keep going with that. A Centaur has the upper body of a human and the lower body of a horse. Okay, but this story was, oh, that's a Centaur. Okay, a Centaur, dang it. The story has a plot twist. It's quite shocking to have a child from a bull, right? Kind of gross. A labyrinth symbolizes the human soul with all its sides. Ooh, it's a tricky place, right? The human soul. To think of a Percy Jackson, love Greek math. Yes, I taught some kids a long time ago and they loved Percy Jackson. Okay, so Minotaur, human body, with the head of a bull, kind of like this guy here. And Centaur is human from the waist up, and horse, like Lorena said, or Michaela said, I think, from below. Okay, from the waist down. I totally mixed these up. Sorry. Thank you, Yuki, for asking, because I totally said it incorrectly. All right. See, this is what's great about these lessons. We're all here to learn together. I am not an expert on this topic, and so I won't pretend to be. And you need to let me know when I say something incorrect here. Please, 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 because, yeah, we're learning together. I can just imagine the beauty and the beast. Yeah, totally, right? It does have a lot of that sort of vibe going on. Okay, let's take a look at some idioms based on this story, and we'll head on to the next phase of our lesson. Oops, sorry, let me remove this. Remove from the studio. I have to take the proper steps in order to get there. Let's go. And I will hop over to here. Okay, so here are our idioms. We have in over your head, the lesser of two evils, which is also a vocabulary. So idiom, a word for our vocabulary challenge. And go the extra mile between a rock and a hard place. Definitions are as follows. A, to try harder and do more than is expected. B, in a situation that is too difficult to handle. C, to be stuck in a difficult situation with no good choice. And D, to choose something bad to avoid something worse. All right. So what do you think works the best with one in over your head? And maybe you've had a situation sometimes that you feel sort of like you're in over your head. So you're more than welcome to answer what you think. So Lorena, you're saying one is B. Okay. Any other one people guessing for number one? Anybody else have an idea? In over your head. In over your head. I can say with this topic, I'm a little bit in over my head. It's for sure. Michaela, you've offered some ideas for lesson topics. I will totally be in over my head, but I don't care. We're all here to learn together. It's not about me knowing everything. It's about us learning. So it's not the point. All right, everybody's saying one is B, in over your head in a situation that is too difficult to handle, right? You just feel things getting out of control. You're in over your head. And so, yes. So, and basically King Minos, he was in over his head when he chose not to sacrifice the bull as Poseidon asked him to do. Number two, the lesser of two evils. And these, like I say, always, these are idioms you will hear native speakers use all the time. So it's not like that these just relate to Greek mythology. These people use them all the time. They're very relatable. They're very easy to put into many situations that we just face in everyday life. So the lesser of two evils. Lorena's saying D. Kaluna's saying D. Michaela's saying D. All right. So two is D, the lesser of two evils, to choose something bad to avoid something worse, right? It's the lesser of two evils. I'm trying to think of an example. Does someone have a good example for this? Yes, like if I hate going to the dentist, which I do, even though I have an amazing dentist, it's, the lesser of two evils to actually go there and fix the things that need to be fixed when they happen than to not go and then really have a mouthful of rotting teeth or something like that. It's the lesser of two evils because I don't like going to the doctor. I don't like going to the dentist. So yeah. It's the lesser of two evils to actually deal with it and to do something about it. If anybody wants to use this in a sentence, if you have a better example, which I'm sure you do, then please feel free to go ahead and to add it. Kaluna's saying 3 is A. Alessio is saying 3 is A. Anybody else got A for me for number 3? To go the extra mile. To go the extra mile. Lorena's saying A as well. Okay, so to go the extra mile, which we've definitely had before. I know we've had this idiom before, to try harder and do more than is expected, right? So in our story here, Theseus went the extra mile by sailing over to Crete, taking that ball of string and going in there and fighting the Minotaur and then finding his way out. I think 3 is A. Yes, you are absolutely correct, Renate. Absolutely. And last but not least, then 4 has to be C. Between a rock and a hard place is to be stuck in a difficult situation with no good choice. So like no easy way out. I'm in a rock and a hard place. I don't know what to do. For some reason, my brain is a little slow today. So like examples are not popping in and I don't have anything extra prepared. But to be in a rock and a hard place is when you have two things that there's just not an easy way out. I only knew number 3. Oh, cool. Oh, good. I thought these were all very easy. So I'm happy to hear that you learned some new ones then. Fantastic. That's very cool. Yeah. So to be in a rock and a hard place, like let's say you fall in love with someone else, but you still love your partner. You're in a rock and a hard place. Like there's no easy way out of that one. I mean, honesty is the right thing to do, right? Be honest, but you're still in a rock and a hard place because you can't really figure out, what do I do? Yes, that's an example. And if anybody wants to add any other examples for these, you're always more than welcome to do that. If you are watching the replay and you've made it this far and you feel like you want to participate in this lesson, you're more than welcome to do so by writing comments in the comment section. So if you have ideas for these things, go ahead and do that. You can follow my account very easily here. So if you don't already follow me, I'm right here at English with Jenn 123, and you can come and hang out with us live or make sure that you don't miss any of the replays. So moving on, I got a nice little poll for you and to hear what you have to say. Let me move myself over to here for a second. Nope, remove. All right, remove from studio. And let's go. So we need number 3. And I'm going to hop over here. And my poll for you is such. How do you usually handle hard choices? So I follow my heart, think logically, ask for advice, or avoid the decision completely? Just like if it goes, I'll just pretend it's not here. Make it go away. Number 4, we say between an anvil and the hammer. More creative. Yeah, I like that. That's good too. Very good. Maybe this is not the best example for number 4. When someone chooses to steal money to save his ill family rather than choosing them to die. Yeah, in the situation, he stole because he was in a rock and a hard place. Yes, I think that's a really good example, Kaluna. Thank you. So Carmen, you're saying A, follow my heart. And I don't like either bull meat or chicken meat, but I will choose the lesser of the 2 evils. So which is the lesser of the 2 evils? All right, so Leah's saying B, to think logically. Hitoko's going with follow my heart. And I don't know, I think sometimes it's a combination for me. It depends on the situation. Yeah. Otherwise I would have paid my American taxes like years ago, right? So D for that one. Or not paid. I don't really have to pay anything, but I need to file them. Ask for advice. I think all of them depends on the situation for me. Chicken. Chicken. So B and C for Michaela, logic and advice. And B for Alessio, think logically. Renee, most of the time I think logically, but sometimes I avoid the decision, and I sometimes don't feel comfortable, right? Avoiding it is horrible, right? It's so easy, but it's the worst because it just eats at you. You just know this thing has got to happen. Yeah, I hear you. B for Lorena, think logically. I rarely ask for advice. Really? Okay. Is that because you don't have people you trust, or is that because you depend more on yourself? Why don't you ask for advice? Yuki, A and B, heart and logic. I hate to avoid taking a decision. Yes, it's good. Then your life is probably not full of little potholes. So it's probably a good thing, Lorena. Sometimes ask my husband. Okay, so you ask your husband for advice sometimes. Definitely. Okay, let's move on to some questions, and then we will move on to our next story. And let's see what I've got for you here question-wise. And I will have to move over to here. And let's see if this is going to pop up. Good. Okay, here we go. So what do you do when you feel lost or stuck in life, like you're in a maze? What are some things that you do? I have less trust. I have trust issues. I'm sorry, Leah. I'm so sorry. That's not good. I'm sorry you have that experience. So let's see. But the risk is to take the wrong decision. Yeah, but I think like in every right decision, there's something wrong. And in every wrong decision, there's somehow something right in a weird way. Like it's never going to be 100% great to a certain extent. I think you can do things, you can make decisions that are healthy ones, but maybe there's always something that's kind of like, but, and unhealthy ones, maybe in that moment it feels right. I don't know. So I think it's sometimes, I think if you listen to your heart, yeah. So with then I'm at A, listening to my heart. If I feel it, actually, it's not in my heart; it's in my stomach. I feel like the right answer or the wrong answer in my stomach. If my stomach hurts, then I know the decision is wrong. Just use critical thinking and take the best step. I just give up. Oh no, Yuki. I think a lot and then I act. That's the healthy approach for sure. Think a lot, know where you need to be, and then make the decision based on that. All right. So let's see. Number 2, Ariadne helped Theseus escape, even though he was her father's enemy. Would you go against your family to do what you believe is right? Would you do that? If I ask my best friend what to do, and sometimes I just say, okay, so sometimes you ask your friend, and sometimes I just stay under my blanket and cry. Oh no, oh, Carmen. Que sera, sera, right? It will be what it will be, right? The future is not ours to see. I won't sing it. Okay, anyway. So, number 2, Ariadne helped Theseus escape, even though he was her father's enemy. Would you go against your family to do what you believe is right? Because, like, really, if you think about it, how fair is it that people from Athens had to send their children for a mistake that the Cretan king had made? Not very fair. So, yes, so Ariadne saw the truth in that and decided to go against her father and help out young Theseus to escape. I honestly sometimes lose hope, but I always remind myself to pray and to keep my light going, even though it seems getting dimmer. Oh, Kaluna, sweetie, I'm so sorry to hear that. I'm so, so sorry. But you're not stuck here. Like on Wednesdays and Tuesdays, then I hope that we're a nice refuge for those of you who are sort of feeling sometimes like, because I understand life can be very, very complicated and unfair and unkind. But yeah, at least you can have a little refuge here, I hope. Carmen, number 2, yes, it's the most important to do what is morally correct. Yeah, so I think for me, I would also answer yes. If what my family was doing was immoral, I would go the high road. I would definitely go the more moral route, the morally correct route. Usually I keep going without overthinking. Okay. And unless you do feel that that's a good place for you to be, yes, I follow what is the right for me and others, even if I have to go against people I love. I would go against my family. Okay, so everybody here would go against their family. Yeah, I would too. Nope, I'm doing my thing. If you're not doing the right thing, I don't have to follow that. But I think some people come from cultures where it's so important to follow what your family does that the idea of going against them somehow or doing something different would feel like going against them and betraying them. Yeah, the class seems like a weekly therapy. Oh, I'm so happy, Kaluna. Yeah, I'm happy to have you here. You know that. Number 1, I'm not sure if I've ever felt this way before. The famous last words, this stuck. Okay, Michaela, darling, let's be superstitious and knock on some wood if you've never felt stuck or lost in life. That's wonderful. You've got your stuff together. That's very, very cool. I knock on some wood because you know how life is. All right. So then let's see. Let's move on. I have a new story for us. Okay. So let me remove this guy here so I don't click on it 5 other times. Pull myself up. And here is our next story. I know that for a lot of you, these stories are totally new. So this one might be one that we don't know a lot about. For those of you who do know about Greek mythology, you can help us out. Another name that is so hard to pronounce. Let's see. Hold on. It's hard when it's involved parents here in my culture and my religion. Yes, I can imagine that. I can totally imagine that. Hug to Lee and Kaluna. Yes, big group hug. Big group hugs. And to whoever else needs it out there who isn't saying so. So absolutely. Okay, so our next story is such. It's Persephone and the underworld myth. Persephone, hard word to say. And the underworld myth. What do you know? What can you tell me? Maybe nothing, maybe something, but we will learn it together. It is really hard to go against family, but if it is the right thing to do to justify the right thing, maybe it's a great sacrifice. Yes, I think so. I think like to keep your soul intact, it has to, in my opinion, it first has to be about you. To make sure that you feel like you are doing the right thing, and then you can be there for others to a certain extent. Okay, Persephone and the underworld. What can you tell me? I'll give us 2 minutes and maybe just 1 minute. Maybe nobody knows anything. I don't know. Who is Persephone? What happens in the underworld? What is this place like? And even if you have no idea, you can just guess. I mean, why not, right? This is just the fun of practicing the language. It doesn't have to be so scientific or knowledgeable. Just go for it. Say what you think. And Persephone and the underworld. What do you know about Persephone? What do you know about this story? I can tell you some of the other characters. There's Hades and Demeter, I guess. So Persephone, Hades, and Demeter are part of this story. All right, Carmen, here we go with your Percy Jackson knowledge. The daughter of Demeter and Zeus. Yes. Okay, I didn't know who her daddy was, but I did know that Demeter is her mom. Yes, exactly. Queen of the underworld. Yes. And how did she get there? Anybody know how she got there? Because her mom is actually the goddess of harvest, I think. I want to say. Yes, of harvest. So she's like the one who makes everything grow, and then you get all of that goodness from her. So the underworld may be where souls go when they are not welcome at the kingdom of heavens. Super idea. Okay. Totally logical. The queen of the underworld and the goddess of spring and agriculture. Okay. Awesome. Okay, so some of you have some bits and pieces here. Let's put them together. My son is Googling. Hello, dear. Welcome on board too. All right. So here's some vocab words to help us out. No idea. Yeah, no stress, Yuki. We're all going through this together. I learned about her, I don't know, 3 days ago, 4 days ago, 5 days ago, whenever I started researching this. So do not worry. Absolutely not. It's just an interesting story that I wanted to share with you. So let's see. Let me find number 5 and hop over to here. And we've got some vocab words, and then we'll get into our story. All right, here we go. We have harvest, kidnap, underworld, grief, and intervene. Intervene is the last one. Grief, underworld, kidnap, harvest. First definition, Hitoko's got a super sword. Yeah, Hitoko's got a joker. So let's see. A, to take someone away by force. B, deep sadness, especially after a loss. C, time of the year when crops are collected. D, to step in and to try to help or solve a problem. E, the place where souls go after death in mythology. All right. So let's see. So Radit, 1C. Anybody else going with C for harvest? And maybe because crop is actually a word that I shouldn't take for granted. A lot of people don't know that word, but to give you an idea, crop is something that you grow. So it could be corn, it could be some sort of beans, it could be lots of different types of food. That is a crop. And it's typically, I'm going to say, not meat, actually. It's more like vegetables and things of that nature. All right, everybody is saying C, agricultural products. Exactly. Thank you. So number one, harvest, C, the time of the year when the crops are collected. Exactly. You harvest them. Number two, kidnap. Which one works best with kidnap? What can you tell me about kidnap? So Renee's going with 2 is A, Kaluna A. Other guesses, harvest is the best season. Is like, so harvest in like fall, I guess, or late summer is your favorite season, Yuki? Question mark. So everybody's saying is A, exactly. So 2A, kidnap, to take someone by force. All right, so to take someone by force. Yuki has a great harvest. Yes, she does. She grows so many amazing things. Number 3, underworld. What can you tell me about the underworld? We have 1 is C, 2 is A, 3 is... Okay, Kaluna's saying E. What else have you got for me? Anybody else agreeing with Kaluna, with 3 being E? Alessia's saying E. Okay, so the underworld, E, a place where souls go after death in mythology. All right? Renee, but I don't, so sometimes when y'all write emojis, they show up as something different, but you have a beautiful little circle around your 3 and your 2 and your 1. It looks so professional. I don't know how you do it, but it looks beautiful. All right, so everybody's saying E, absolutely. Underworld, the place where souls go after death in mythology. Number 4, grief. What can you tell me about grief? Grief. Lorena's saying B. Anyone else agreeing Kaluna as well? 4 is B. So 1 was C, 2 is A, 3 is E, 4 is B, right? Grief. B, deep sadness after a loss. So when someone passes away, we experience grief. I'm sure we had this as a vocabulary word a couple of months ago when we talked about death. And last but not least, to intervene. 5, intervene, is D, to step in and try to help or solve a problem. You intervene. Italian students study Greek mythology and Liceo Classico as part of their deep dive into ancient Greek and Latin literature. Aha, that's why you're all so educated. It's part of your curriculum. Well, it's wonderful. Yeah, oh, cute with all your little emojis, Yuki. So yes, so Lorena, you as well. So that's why y'all know so much about Greek mythology. Very cool. All right, so 5 was D, to intervene, to step in and try to help or solve a problem. You have sometimes, you can hear this word used often as a noun, intervention. So you can have an intervention. If you have a family member that isn't doing well, maybe they are taking drugs or maybe they are mentally not where they need to be, you can have an intervention where you come together and you're like, stop, we need to talk about this, we need to help you, and that sort of thing. So you hear this often when you, in that kind of context as well. Or to intervene, you step in and try to solve a problem. My daughter studied at Liceo Classico. So is Liceo Classico, is that a subject or is that a school? I'm not quite sure. I was thinking it was a subject. In Liceo Scientifico, mythology may appear in Italian literature, philosophy, or history classes. Interesting. We have learned to intervene before, right? I don't know, Yuki. I'm not sure. I thought it was something new. Okay, I don't know. I can't remember. I hope we've had it before, but I can't remember. Good question. High school, liceo classico. So it's a subject, I take it, or it's a school. It's a high school. Okay, it's not a subject. Are these additional classes, or is this a special high school that people go to? Like in Germany, the high school system, just to stop for 1 second with our story here, you have high schools that focus on ancient languages like Greek and Latin. And then you have some schools that are a little bit more scientific for high school. It's a school. So I guess it's the same in Italy as well. In the United States, you have high school and they teach everything. And it's typically not sort of like structured. And this is sort of a music school, or this is a science school, or that kind of thing. So this is new for me, but maybe this is more of a European thing. I don't know. Where you have schools that focus maybe on Old Greek and such things. All right, thank you. Thank you for educating me. All right, so those are our vocab words. We have harvest, kidnap, underworld, and grief and intervene. And here is our story. So Persephone, the daughter of Demeter, the goddess of the harvest, one day, Persephone is, we needed a verb in there. Persephone is the daughter of Demeter, the goddess of harvest. One day she was picking flowers, and the god Hades kidnapped her and took her to the underworld to be his queen. Her mother, rightfully so, Demeter, was heartbroken and searched for her daughter. In her grief, Demeter stopped making plants grow, and the land became cold and empty. Winter began. Eventually, Zeus, thanks to Carmen, we know that's her dad, intervened and arranged a compromise. Persephone would spend part of the year with Hades in the underworld, and the other part with her mother on earth. This story explains the seasons. When Persephone is in the underworld, it is fall and winter, and when she returns to earth, it's spring and summer come again. I hope this was easier to understand. So please give me percentages on how much you understood, just so I have a bit of an idea. Tell me about the story. What did you understand? Some little highlights that you can tell me. Greek and Latin and other subjects. Is a high school specialized in? Yes, okay. So that's similar to Germany as well. Oh, cool, Lorena. So 100% for you. So yeah, so that's how it is in Germany as well. You have some schools that focus on that and others that focus on music or on science. 80%, all right. I love her story. Yeah, it's an interesting story, right? This was new for me as well. So yeah, so I thought it was kind of an interesting way that they use this to explain why we have different seasons. It's very creative. 80%, okay, what was that? So Yuki, 90, cool, all right. Any other ones? Any words that weren't quite clear or phrases that you found interesting? Anything you want to tell me about the story? If you could sum it up in one sentence, what would you say? But no pressure. I can just also read it again. We had Persephone, the daughter of Demeter, the queen of the underworld. We had Demeter, the goddess of harvest, Persephone's mother, Hades, the god of the underworld, and Zeus, the king of gods. So yeah. All right. Since I don't know if people are writing or if no stress, I'm just going to read it again, or let's go through it really quickly and then I will read it again, just because I think it's, maybe if someone didn't understand it, this would give them the opportunity to understand it. So we have Persephone and her mom, and they're living their best lives. And so, let me see what Hades tricked her. He wants Persephone to eat a pomegranate seed. Gosh, this sounds so Adam and Eve, right? A pomegranate seed. It's the fall. Oh, sorry. It is the fruit of the underworld. That's my favorite fruit. One of them. What does that mean? And the result of eating it is she has to stay 6 months a year with Hades in the underworld. When we are intervened, our hearts get frozen, so it makes sense. So in this case, Yuki, intervene is like, so there was a problem because Demeter she missed her daughter so much that she made everything on earth frozen, gray, barren. Barren is a very good word. If nothing grows, so in winter, when nothing grows, the land is barren. Sometimes land can be barren when there's an accident, like an oil spill, and that means nothing grows on it. And in winter, typically things don't really grow. It's barren. So everything was barren, and that can't be either because people were probably starving. And so Zeus stepped in, he intervened. He said, wait, hold on. We need to find a solution here because we can't have winter all year round. And, and Hades, he loves her. He loves her very much. So he intervened, he stepped in. So maybe even a better way of using the word intervene, or a nice synonym for that is to step in and to try to help something. It is personification, the use of the season in the story. Yes, they explain how stories, why seasons happen. I love this story because it explains yes, and in a very clever kind of way, I find as well. All right, I'll read it once more, maybe a little bit faster this time, and then we will move on. Persephone is the daughter of Demeter, the goddess of the harvest. One day she was picking flowers. One day, while she was picking flowers, the god Hades kidnapped her and took her to the underworld to be his queen. Her mother, Demeter, was heartbroken and searched for her daughter. In her grief, Demeter stopped making plants grow, and the land became cold and empty. Winter began. Eventually, Zeus intervened and arranged a compromise. Persephone would spend part of the year with Hades in the underworld and the other part with her mother on earth. This story explains the seasons. When Persephone is in the underworld, it is fall and winter, and when she returns to earth, spring and summer come again. Thank you, Yuki, for writing that, because then it helps to clarify things. So thank you very much. So my son found the story in Japanese, and now he understands. I am such a cheater. That's hilarious. Okay. So yeah. Okay. Yuki's, Hitoko's over there cheating. It's funny. Okay. So let's move on to a poll question. Get your ideas. And I think I know how Yuki's going to answer this one already. Let's see what we've got. I need slide number 6. Here we go. All right. And I need to hop over here. So what have you got for me? So what can you tell me? Which season feels more like you? Would you say spring, full of energy and new beginnings? B, summer, relaxed and happy? C, fall, thoughtful and calm? Or D, winter, quiet and cozy? So picking flowers is also a reference to her being, ooh, really? Okay, I have no idea. That is horrific. All right, poor thing. So we have Medusa and Persephone in the same, yeah. It was not easy for women in Greek mythology. It wasn't easy for, I think, a lot of people, but especially women. We think of Medusa as well. So Hitoko's going with A, spring, full of energy and new beginnings. Any other answers here? A and C, spring and fall. Okay, that's a nice combination too. Winter, I was born in winter. Okay, yeah, maybe sometimes we relate to the seasons in which we were born. That can make sense, totally. Winter and fall is my season. All right, so they are your seasons, okay? Think C, that's fall. Oh, I really love the winter vibe. quiet and cozy is my cup of tea. Okay. I am summer. And Kaluna, you're in Indonesia, right? So what is the winter like in Indonesia? Is it cold there or is it actually pretty calm, pretty mild? Hello, Lily. Welcome. Welcome on board. We're finishing up the story with Persephone and the underworld. Hello to you, Khalid. Hello. Welcome, welcome. And I have some phrasal verbs for us now. So let's take a look at those. So it doesn't matter that you missed the story, you can still be able to participate in the phrasal verbs. So here we go, finding our new topic here, phrasal verbs, slide number 7. And let's go, I'm in the right home. So all good. All right, here we go. So that's poor Persephone there with the underworld and with things growing and thriving. No winter in Indonesia. Okay, so how cold does it get? So, all right, we have come back, break down, step in, and hold on. And here are the words or the definitions that we can match these with. We have A, to lose control emotionally. B, to keep going or stay hopeful. C, to return. And D, to get involved, to help. All right. So number 1, come back. What can you tell me? Come back can mean lots of different things. What have I got going with this? Yes. How many seasons do you have in your country? Yeah, Leo, how many seasons do you actually have? So, all right, so we have 1 C, C, C. I have a C of C's. So yes, okay, 1 is C, come back is C, to return. And you think of this like, I always think of come back. I think of like a musical group or a star. They made their comeback. They came back again. To return, they returned to doing concerts or whatever it is, to doing music again. And in this case, come back. So then Persephone came back in the spring and was able to stay with her mother or come back to the underworld or return or whatever. Okay, later on. Just to Yuki, dry and rainy, but the weather is unpredictable nowadays. Yeah, Yuki was telling me too about the weather in Japan. All right, Kaluna's keeping us on track. Thank you very much. I have 2 from Kaluna, breakdown, and from Lorena, both saying A. Anybody else have the same answer? 2A. What can you tell me? 2A? I'll take a little sip of water. I need to get some little like lozenges for my throat because when I speak so much, afterwards my throat is like very unhappy. So I think maybe I should get like a little lozenge of some sort. All right. Everybody's saying A. So 2 is A, breakdown, A, to lose control emotionally. And probably all of us at some point has broken down. We can break down, have a mental breakdown, you hear as well. I've learned comeback as a thing in Korea because of K-pop songs. And also another meaning for comeback is when somebody says something rude to you and you have something really good to throw back at them. That's a comeback as well. What a great comeback. For me, it's always somebody says something really horrible and that amazing comeback comes at 3 a.m. when they're no longer there and it no longer makes sense. That's so annoying. But that's when my comebacks come into play. There is an earthquake and possibly tsunami at the moment I saw in the news. Oh, literally at this moment. Where? In Indonesia or in where it was earlier today, near Japan? Thank you, Leah, for letting us know. All right, number 3, step in. What can you tell me for step in? Okay, so it was in Japan. Yes, Yuki and Hitoko, are y'all okay? Japan, okay. Kaluna saying that 3, step in, is C. So hold 1 second. So 1 was C, 2 is A. Difficult to choose, but I'm more of a B just because I like to swim. Okay. And Kaluna's saying D. Michaela's saying D. I hope that Yuki and Hitoko are okay. Aye. Okay. So, yeah. So 3D. Everyone so far is saying 3 is D. So step in, D, to get involved and to help. So to step in is also like the word that we learned earlier, to intervene. To intervene as another way to say to step in as a simple vocabulary. Well, not simple, it's a nice vocabulary word. To intervene is also to step in. And last but not least, hold on. And thank you for your concern. We are fine. Okay, good. I do. My Japanese friends got quiet for a minute, so that was a little scary. Let's hope that that Hitoko is also okay. I know. Yeah. Okay. So for hold on is last but not least, B, to keep going or stay hopeful. To keep going or stay hopeful. To hold on to hope, to not lose hope, that kind of thing. All right. So I have some questions for you based on this, and then we will, and then we have a poll, and then we will move on to our next story. Yes, exactly, Yuki. 4 was B. Did you feel the earthquake, Yuki? Just now? I think that you and Hitoko are kind of not so far from each other. I think. I'm not sure. Oops. Let me move over. All right. So number 1, have you ever been away from someone you love for a long time? And if so, then how did that make you feel? Because we have a nice expression in English. Oh, Hitoko, good. You're here again too. Okay, good. So we have the expression, absence makes the heart grow fonder. So not being around someone, oops, let me do this here. Absence makes the heart grow fonder. Meaning that if you're not around someone for a while, it might make you actually like them more because you learn to appreciate what it is that you've got. Sometimes you don't know what you've got till it's gone. So yes, have you ever been away from someone you loved for a long time? And what was that like? We can do number 2 kind of at the same time. You can choose which ones you want to answer. If you want to answer both, or if you want to just answer one or neither, as you like. And then so number 2 is think of someone you love the most. If you couldn't see them for 6 months each year, what would you miss most about them? What would you miss about them most, the most? 1, yes. Okay, so Leah, you've experienced that. And did your heart grow fonder, or were you able to just kind of realize maybe it's not so this person is not as important to me as I thought? Oh, good, Yuki. I'm glad y'all are safe. So what can you tell me? I think that like if I could only see Peter 6 months a year, I would miss his sense of humor. I would miss our universe that we have together, because we really do have like a universe that's just ours. It's our little weird world that we run around in. I would miss that tremendously. When he's not here, then it's like there's all kinds of stuff that I want to share with him. And so that would be really hard to not be able to share that with him. And yeah, and I would miss him. I would miss laughing together the most. Yeah, exactly. Laughing. It's such an important thing. Maybe these questions are too personal. I don't know. But we will slowly move on. And no, I can't stay for that. You can't stay for that. Oh, you would not. Yeah, 6 months without your man, not happening. I might sound heartless, but I don't miss my family when I didn't miss my family when I was away. That doesn't sound heartless. It can actually come from a place of peace, or it can come from a place of that maybe we don't pick our families, and sometimes our families drive us crazy. So, and that's okay too. It's not okay, but you have to deal with it. So maybe sometimes getting away from family offers you a sense of freedom to a certain extent. With my daughters, when they go abroad to study, but it's not for a long time, maximum 1 year. Okay. So, Lorena, have they already gone or will they go at some point? I won't stand for that. Yes, I know, Yuki. You would not stand for that. All right, let's move on to a nice little poll question, and then we'll hop into our another story that I absolutely love. A very cool story as well. Let's see. And we need number 9. And I need to hop over to here. Okay, so do you believe that time apart can make a relationship grow stronger? We kind of had that. So what do you think? Yes, distance can make the heart grow fonder, or no, it causes people to drift apart. C, it depends on the relationship. D, I'm not so sure. You know, like what happened with Persephone and with what's his face, Hades, when they were apart for 6 months? Because maybe she ended up loving him. I don't know. Maybe Carmen, did she end up loving him actually? Being away from someone you love for a long time gives you a hard time, especially when you're sad. You yearn for support. Definitely. So everyone's saying C. It depends on the relationship. Yeah. It may be the state of the relationship. I've been together with Peter for 9 years. There's more of, like in a healthy relationship, if he goes away for a week, it's kind of like, ooh, I get to do me. And like in the beginning of our relationship, it's like, oh no. Sometimes it's nice to be on your own. And that's not anything against him at all. I absolutely love him. And if I didn't have time on my own, that would be totally fine too. But if I do have time on my own, that's also nice. Do you have an expression like an Italian? I don't see heart, don't hurt. Maybe is that out of sight, out of mind. Like if you don't see the person, you don't think of them. Is that so? Out of sight, out of mind. That kind of sounds like maybe what that might mean. And I will share that with you there. Out of sight, out of mind. For me, it depends on the relationship, if it's a strong enough and if there's trust. Yes. I used to believe hold on. The distance makes the heart grow fonder. But I think but nowadays, I think it's more reasonable. We're going to ignore that. All right. So she does come so she does end up loving Hades. Over time, she develops feelings for him. Well, at least that. Yeah. I don't know. But thank you, Carmen. You know your stuff, and thank you for sharing that with us. Thank you. Thank you. So I'm going to get rid of out of sight, out of mind. I'm guessing that is sort of what the Italian one is. Time to practice. Uh-oh, here we go. Oh, Alessio, I think you do this to laugh. Here we go. Occhio non veda cura non duola. That sounds so bad. I am so sorry. Okay, Lorena, when my daughter went, or went away, I spend a lot of time on the phone in the night to not maintain in the night to maintain live the relationship with them. Okay. All right. You know what? I hear my neighbor. Now he's interacting with someone. I don't know what's going on here. I don't know. Anyway, so, okay, let's see. So, yes. So when your daughter is away, when your daughters are away, then you're on the phone with them a lot to maintain the relationship. Got it. Okay. let me scroll down. Can't stand that. Okay, that was that. 2, I would misled. Okay, I don't know what happened to the rest of our comments here. Oh, wait, I have to go this way. Okay, well said, Alessio. All right, I don't know what that means though. Exactly, but we refer to the heart and not the mind. Aha. Okay. All right. I mean, I think both can be true. Out of sight, out of mind, or absence makes the heart grow fonder. I think that like when you have these breaks in a relationship, then you really know the truth. Kinda. Let's see. Seems toxic, doesn't it? It does, darling. It sure does. Okay, we're moving on to a new story. All right. So we have the Trojan horse. Don't you go? It's less than a minute. It's less than a minute, Jen. What do you mean? Oh, yeah. No, I don't know. I guess it's been figured out. I hope. I don't have any inconveniences staying away from my family, but my partner, I need him next to me. I can live 1 month at most without him. That's also a long time. Yes. I mean, 1 month is a long time. I don't want to go a month. A week, okay. But a month? No, thank you. So, all right, Trojan horse, 2 minutes. Anything that you can tell me about the story, about the horse, about anything, you're more than welcome to let me know. We're heading on to our second to last story. So, yes, let's see what we've got. What you can tell me about the Trojan horse. The Trojan horse. And maybe you say, I don't know anything. I feel like Hitoko is there with her son right now, Googling this, getting the story in Japanese. I feel that. I don't know if it's right, but somehow something's telling me that maybe she is. Hello, Natalia, sweetie. Welcome. Wooden construction inside with soldiers. Okay. Trojan horse, something more happened. Some more happened. I can't fully remember. You're on the right path. Absolutely. My helper went to bed. So now I am helpless. No worries. We will talk about it and you will learn it the old-fashioned way. No stress. All right. Anybody else want to add anything about the Trojan horse? Otherwise, we will hop into some vocab and then read the story together. Take a look at the story together. What can you tell me? All right. I'm going to grab vocabulary. If you want to add anything, you're more than welcome. All of these stories are driving me crazy. Why are they driving you crazy? All right. Let's see. Number 10. Vocab, and I need to hop over to here, I think. No, dang it, over here. Soldiers penetrate into the fortress, being hidden in a horse. Beautifully worded, Natalia. Awesome. I have watched the entire movie, so I know about that story, right? It was Angelina Jolie, and who was it? It wasn't Brad Pitt, was it? Who was the main male character? She was Helen of Troy, right? And I want to say Brad Pitt, but that doesn't feel right. Was it Russell Crowe, maybe? I don't know. Okay, so a story of bravery and strategy. Well said. I went to see Trojan Horse. And so the movie you mean, Yuki. So you know the story too then. All right, good. So we've now found a story that most of you know. All right, so we have pretend, deception, destroy, and conceal. So lots of good, strong words. And here are our definitions right there. To break or ruin something completely. To make others believe that something isn't true. C, to trick someone by hiding the truth. And D, to hide something carefully. So which one works the best for number 1, to pretend? I need to move this. I keep touching it to be my own mom. So let's see. So number one, to pretend. What can you tell me? Which one works best with number one, to pretend? So Natalia saying C, Kaluna saying C. The Greeks built a giant wooden horse to get access to the city of Troy. It should have been an offering to Athena. Ah, nice little extra info here. Hold on, let me go up, scroll back down here. While they pretended to sail home, but instead hid inside the horse, the construction of the horse, okay, and hid inside the constructed horse. Because I don't understand a lot of the English version, I think I'll send you a DM to send me the written text. Oh, absolutely. No problem. Anybody who wants these stories, you're more than welcome to ask me and I will send them. Brad Pitt was the main character in the movie. All right, all right. No, not the movie, the one in Turkey. Oh, okay. I don't know that one. Okay. So we have our answers coming in for one, and one is actually B. To pretend is B. To make others believe something that isn't true. To make believe. And we have make believe is to pretend. Children make believe that they are a princess, or like little girls maybe, and or you could say they pretend to be a princess. Both of those mean the same thing, to make believe or to pretend. So one is actually B. I get why everyone's saying C, but one B is better. All right, so what have we got for number two? B and C is, yeah, I get it. I get it. But in this case, you make people believe something. Yeah. But you're not really you're not trying to hide the truth. Like if I tell you I make believe, I pretend, I'm pretending that I'm a princess. You see, I'm not a princess, but I'm pretending, I'm make believing. So it's a little less deceptive and it's more coming from what I want to be. I love the scene when he's screaming. Ooh, what is he screaming? Hector! I've not seen that movie in 100 years, but that was fun to do. Hector! All right, two, we have C's coming in all over. Hey, Gracie, darling. Yes, one was B. Welcome to our lesson today. Two is, everyone is guessing, is C, deception. C is to trick someone by hiding something. So there's something a little bit more evil. A bit somehow I would say the difference between pretend. It's a little more like you're really trying, but I mean, also pretend can be some, yeah, I can pretend to love someone and not, but then I'm deceiving them in a way. It is a deception. This is one of those things. Archaeological site, of Troy. Ooh, that's fascinating, Yuki. You got to visit that. Very cool. All right, Alessio saying 3 is A. He's keeping us on track. Thank you very much, Alessio. Natalia, Kaluna, all saying 3A. Okay, so 3, destroy. A, to break or ruin something completely. Absolutely. To destroy. And last but not least, 4 is to conceal, is to hide something carefully. I couldn't type nothing before. Oh, no worries, sweetie. I hope now everything is better for you and you can participate the way that you would like. Yes, to conceal is to hide something. So in the States, this is crazy, but this gives you a very good example of this. In my state, Tennessee, it is legal to conceal a weapon and go into a bar. So you can have a gun and you can hide it, you can conceal it, and you can go into a bar. So it's something that is hidden away. Crazy, but I come from a crazy state. All right, exactly. So 2 is C, 3 is A, and 4 is D. And now we will move our words, just to recap here: pretend, deception, destroy, and conceal. These are our vocabulary words. And here is the story. I don't think there are too many names, so that's going to make this a lot easier. So the Greeks and the Trojans had been at war for many years. But the Greeks couldn't find a way to enter the city of Troy. So they came up with a plan of deception. Hello, Juan Carlos. Welcome. The Greeks built a huge wooden horse and left it outside the city gates. They pretended it was a gift of peace and sailed away, hiding their ships nearby. What the Trojans didn't know was that the Greek soldiers were concealed inside the horse. Believing that the war was over, the Trojans brought the horse into the city to celebrate. But at night, the hidden soldiers came out, opened the gates, and let the Greek army in. The Greeks destroyed Troy and won the war through this clever trick. Percentage of understanding. How much do you understand? Did you understand of the story? Did you understand 100%, 0%? Let me know. Let's go through this. You can tell me some different things about the story that you learned. What can you say? 100. All right, Natalia. 100 on this one too. Yeah, no names. None of these complicated Greek names, right? Loretta as well. Yuki. Okay, cool. It doesn't have to be 100. You can also say less. If you want to tell me what you understood, we can do that as well. We can go through. Yes. Okay. The story was easier. Okay, good. Very cool. And maybe it helps too when we know a little bit about the story. Not everything is then new somehow. Okay. So we have the Greeks, we have the Trojans, they're at war. The Greeks don't have any idea how they can win. The story was quite easy to picture, right? I think so too. Okay, good. So they came up with an idea. They built a huge wooden horse and they put tons of soldiers inside. And then they left it as a peace offering in front of the gates of Troy. And then at night, they came out of it because the Trojans were like, "Ooh, look at this! We have this great horse! What a gift!" And so then at night, then they opened up the doors, or the Greeks came out of the horse, and they were able to open up the gates and let the other Greeks come in that had kind of hidden their ships around the corner, let's say. I have no idea. And then, they were able to go into the city and conquer it once and for all. All right. I think we don't need to reread that story. Concentrate, concealed, hidden. Yes, exactly. I did not know that. But yeah, cool. Very cool. Yes, to conceal something is to hide it, to conceal it. Exactly. So when you have concealer. Yeah, so us ladies that use makeup, when we have dark circles under your eyes, we use concealer to hide the dark. So think of it like that. You're hiding things. 90%, but I know the story, so I know what you're talking about. Okay, so it's about 100%. Sounds good. Would anybody like me to read it again faster, or shall we continue on? I would like to give you the opportunity to vote for that. Would you like me to read it again or go on? Move on to some idioms. Let's take a quick vote if you don't mind. And you can tell me what you think. Are we continuing or reading the story? Continue. All right, Carmen, we're going with your call here. So let's move on. I've got some idioms. Let's move on. All right, we're doing it. Let's move on. All right, so let's see. Next slide. Yes. And let's see what we have. Okay, so we have idioms related to the story. Okay, everyone's on the same page. Good. And like I said, if you want these stories, you are more than welcome to send me a DM on Instagram. I reached 30,000 people today on Instagram. Can you believe that? I mean, it doesn't really matter at the end of the day, but it kind of helps my ego. It feels kind of good. If I could reach 30,000 here, that would be kind of cool too. Anyway, That's neither here nor there, but you can write me on Instagram and send me a DM, and then I will send you the stories. So here we have: to pull the wool over someone's eyes, a Trojan horse, to be too good to be true, excuse me, let your guard down. And we have a trick that hides danger inside something that looks harmless. And thank you, Carmen. Thank you. It was kind of the happy. I don't know. It doesn't really serve me anything, but it's good for my ego sometimes. It gets a little bit of like, thank you, thank you. To stop being careful or watchful, or D, to trick or fool someone. So what can you tell me? To pull the wool over someone's eyes. And again, like I said, some of these might sound crazy, but I really do put in idioms that people actually use. These are not some random idioms. These are ones that people in the right situation at the right time would absolutely use. So what can you tell me? Number one, to pull the wool over someone's eyes. What is that? Thank you, Alessio. Thank you, guys. Thank you so much for being my solid community. How lucky are we that we have this little space for us? So that's the most important thing to celebrate. That somewhere along the way, all of you came along and have hung in there. So I'm very, very grateful for that. It gives you fuel to keep your passion. Yeah, it does. It does somehow. It does, Kaluna. You're right. Exactly. So we have 1D from Ranit, from Alessio. Yeah, reading. Reading? I'm not sure, Gracie. I'm not sure, sweetie. Okay. All right. So 1D, that is the correct answer. To pull the wool over someone's eyes is D, to trick or fool someone. Like, he totally pulled the wool over my eyes. I had no idea that he was doing that. Thank you, Michaela. Thank you, sweetie. Thanks very much. So yeah, so to pull the wool over someone's eyes, you trick them. To a Trojan horse. What do you think? Yeah. And I think we have this a lot now with computer things. Like, you have viruses that are Trojan horses. I think that's so 2A, exactly, right? A trick that hides danger inside something that looks harmless. Like, you can have these viruses called Trojan horses. I don't know what I'm talking about, but I've heard of it somewhere. Exactly. 2 is A, folks. 3, too good to be true. What can you tell me? 1 was D, 2 is A, and 3. What have we got for number 3? Too good to be true. Number 3, B. B from Natalia too. Okay, exactly. So 3, too good to be true. B, something that seems perfect but probably isn't, right? You have this a lot when you first start dating someone. Whew, he just seems too good to be true. And then you find out he's married. Something like that, like somebody who's just, how can this be? Although I have to say, Peter felt too good to be true, and he was the real deal. So doesn't have to be. But one has to be a little bit skeptical. So let's see. Number 4, to let your guard down, last but not least, is C, to stop being careful or watchful. Right? So to stop, to let your guard down. And usually you do this in a relationship after you feel like you can trust someone after a while. In the situation with our story, the Trojans let their guard down and accepted this gift into the city. And too good to be true, this big, huge horse as like, here, we really like you. We're asking for peace. We all need a Peter. Yeah, we do. That's so cute. Yes, we all need a Peter. You lessen your weight, your wall. You lessen your wall. I'm not sure what that means. Could you explain that, please? I'm not so sure. You lower your wall. I think that's what you mean. Yeah, you lower your wall. Yes, absolutely. You let your guard down. You lower your wall. Yeah. Okay, Kaluna. Another way of saying that. Totally. All right, I've got our brainstorm, a Benner question for us now. One and two are new. Awesome. Cool. So to pull the wool over someone's eyes and a Trojan horse are new. Good. Love that. I love when we have new things. Yes. Okay. Good to know. I'm going to hop over here and let me pull up our banner. Actually, I had tons of banners, but I just forgot. So let's see. Number 4. Here we go. Is that correct? No. This one. All right. So in the story, the Greeks hid their soldiers inside a big wooden horse. If you were in charge, what animal would you pick to hide soldiers? Because this kind of struck me as strange. Why a horse? Why not like a big giant, I don't know, like another animal or another sort of object, a big giant pomegranate. Maybe not, maybe because we just learned from Carmen that represents death. So maybe not. Maybe that would be too obvious. But a big giant horse, or why not like a big giant lion? Or anything else that you could think of that could be like a different way of doing that. One, we put smoke over someone's eyes, not wool. Okay. If we see that someone is all smoke and mirrors, that means that you see things, but they're actually not what they seem. So we have that, but that's not the same thing. Okay, never mind. So if you were to get creative with a story, the Trojan story here, the Trojan horse story, what could the Greeks have also hid their army in? What would you have hid the army in? Let your guard down is okay if you're ready for the worst. Yeah. Okay, I think that emoji is, So I don't know what that emoji is. A bear, maybe? I can't really see. Sorry. Let me see. Hold on. Let me get my little magnifying glass. I think that's a bear. That would be good, right? An elephant. Yeah, I was thinking an elephant too. I mean, huge by nature. You could fit lots of people in there because the horse represents something very important for humanity. Without it, everything would have been more difficult. So maybe okay, I'm sure, yeah, Juan Carlos, you're probably right that it's really more that it was a symbolic thing with a horse. But okay, for the sake of playing, maybe an elephant because it seems more gentle, like gentle giants. Yes. Okay. So, and Yuki, yours is a bear. I did read that correctly. Okay. This is just a funny, sort of silly question, but I was kind of curious because I was like, why did they pick a horse? Why a horse? All right. So let's see. We're moving on to a new story. And this, I think, Carmen, you mentioned it, or no, Renata, she mentioned it yesterday. The birth of Athena. Okay, so what do you know about Athena? What do you know about the story of Athena? 2 minutes, anything that you can tell me about Athena. And this is our last story for the day. Oops, let's see. Yeah. Just thought I'd miss somebody's comment, but I think I'm okay. All caught up. I read it was a horse because the horse, is a symbol of power and status. The horse was a peace tribute. Yes, it was a peace offering. Exactly. That's the only thing I know. Okay. Oh, a big teddy bear. Aha. Oh, okay. I did miss your comment. Okay. Kaluna, you said the goddess of wisdom, and that's the only thing you know. Okay. You knew more than I did 5 days ago. Trojans believe that horses are a symbol of peace and victory. Okay. Well, then that makes sense. That makes sense. But I just thought, I don't know, maybe a different animal could also be fun. Gracie, I wanted to read again the story, but no problem. Gracie, if you want, send me a DM, dear, and I will send you all of these stories, no problem. Okay. I guess you're watching from the beginning. We have that sometimes where there's a delay in the live stream. If somebody chooses to go to the beginning, then yeah. Okay. Sorry, sweetie. Send me a DM and I will send it to you. Athena is the protector of the cities. Okay. That I didn't know. Anything else? 28 seconds. And then we're going to find out more about Athena. And I know Hitoko's not cheating because her help is gone. So we'll move on to some vocabulary, and then let me get that lined up for us so that we're ready with that. Athena is like the E in egg. Athena, egg, Athena, egg, egg, yeah. All right. Goddess of wisdom and warfare. Exactly. Okay. So let's see. Let's find our vocabulary. And here we go. I need to scoot over to here. The daughter of Zeus. We do know he had a lot of kids. Known for good war strategy. In order to hide soldiers, it must be a great animal like a bear, an elephant with a large gut. Good word. So gut is like your belly, your stomach. Super vocab word. All right. So here are words related to her story. Wisdom, armor, axe, spring as a verb, not as like a noun, not the season. And 5, headache. So we have the vocabulary or the definitions that we can match. Knowledge and good judgment, pain in the head, metal clothing worn for protection in battle, a tool used for cutting, usually with a sharp blade, and E, to jump out or appear suddenly. Is Athena the queen or protector of Athens? Maybe. I don't know, Kaluna. It would make sense though, right? I think that Alessio said she's a protector of cities. All right, we have our first answers coming in. We'll go through these kind of quickly. I think a lot of these are pretty easy. 1A, we have from Lorena and from Natalia, absolutely. So 1A, wisdom, a knowledge and good judgment. It's good. So wise, a wise person. Wise is the adjective and wisdom is the noun. What do we have for armor? What can you tell me for number 2? Everybody who's guessed A so far, and you're absolutely correct. 1 is A. Sorry, I have to leave now. Bye, darling. You're welcome. Thank you very much for your participation. Love you too, sweetie. So 2, we have C. Okay, Lorraine, Natalia's saying D. All right, we have 2C, 2C, and 2D. So the correct answer, if we're getting more answers in, I don't know. So armor is C, a metal clothing worn for protection in battle. You have armor. So you see like the Roman soldiers with these big plated chests, or if you think of the medieval knights with the chain mesh, the woven metal, this is their armor. All right. So 1 is A, 2 is C, 3 is C. Kaluna is saying 3 is D. Lorraine is saying D. Any other guesses for 3? Or we will continue on. So 2 is C exactly, and 3 is D exactly. So 3 is D. Excuse me. Axe is a tool used for cutting, usually with a sharp blade. So what she has in her hand, I think, is more of a spear. I don't know. But an axe is more sort of like, yeah, this kind of thing. So 3D, exactly. A tool used for cutting, usually with a sharp blade. You can cut wood with an axe. You wouldn't cut it with a sword, right? You would cut it with an axe. Number 4. All right, thank you for keeping us on track, Kaluna and Natalia. You're both saying E. What else have we got for number 4? Number 4. All right. So number 4 is E. That is true. Spring, the verb, is to jump out and appear suddenly. So you can spring into action. You can jump into action. You can spring forward. You can jump forward. All right. And then we have last but not least, 5 is then obviously B, headache. And then we have B, pain in the head. And I wanted to just share with you because I knew headache would probably be pretty easy, but I just wanted to show you other words that were related to with ache. Yeah, so this can add to your vocab a lot in a nice way. Exactly, Yuki. 5 is B, a pain in the head. Exactly. 5B, a pain in the head, headache. So we can have a headache, we can have a toothache, we can have a stomach ache written together. That looks so strange. Every time I see that word written, it totally freaks me out. Backache, earache, oh, ow, neck ache, and muscle ache. Maybe you go to the gym, the next day you have a muscle ache. So these are lots of vocabulary words that kind of are easy because the first part of the word is easy. So whenever you have a pain, attach that basic thing, the basic where you have the pain and ache quite often. So backache, stomach ache, toothache. So I thought it would be kind of fun to offer you these words as well, because it's kind of easy to add these into your list if you don't already know them. It might not just be, understood. All right, so here we go. We're learning about the birth of Athena. Zeus, the king of gods, had a terrible headache, a pain that was so strong that he asked, oh gosh, Hephaestus. Let me see if I have this guy's name up here. I have a whole list of names. Yes, hold on. Hephaestus or Hephaestus. He's the god of fire and crafts. Okay. Hephaestus. All right. Hephaestus. Sorry to interrupt this. I should have had this in here. Let's see. Hold on. Last story. Here we go. So the pain was so strong that he asked Hephaestus, the god of fire, to help him. Hephaestus took an axe and split Zeus's head open. Suddenly, Athena sprang out, fully grown, wearing shining armor. She was strong, calm, and full of wisdom. Unlike many gods, she didn't use force. She used her mind. Athena became one of the most respected goddesses. She protected cities, helped heroes, and loved learning and art. Pain in the neck. Yeah, exactly. Somebody can be a pain in the neck. I can be a total pain in the neck. Exactly. All right. That's a good way of using that. It's a cute expression. Somebody's really like annoying sometimes. They're just such a pain in the neck. All right. So how much did you understand of the story? 0%, 100%, something in between? Let me know how the story went for you, how much you understood. And maybe if you would like even what you understood. So we have the story, we have idioms, we have a poll question, and we're out. 100%, 100%, okay? Any other things you can tell me? How much of the story did you understand? And maybe there was something that you didn't fully understand. I think going through these vocabulary words in the beginning really helps things a lot. We're able to kind of do a lot more, I think. Okay, so we have Zeus, 100%. Athena's birth story is quite weird. No, it's pretty spectacular. Scary, yeah. It's like Jason, it's like a horror movie. That's totally true. Imagine you have a headache, and so another god comes over and hits you on the head with an axe. Your skull cracks open, and a fully grown female adult comes out of your skull. And she becomes the goddess of wisdom and the protector of cities and helps heroes. And yeah, it was actually unkind to Medusa, but we won't go there. Yeah, so 80%. And like I said, any of these stories that you would like for me to send to you, not a problem. Would absolutely love to send them to you. Just let me know. Okay, let's move on to idioms and then our final question of the day. In Japanese fairy tale, old man cut the bamboo with an ox. Okay, so old man cut the bamboo with ox and the beautiful girl came out. So he cut an ox with bamboo? Or did he carve it? Did he carve it or cut? She is not the goddess though. Aha, she's not. She's a beautiful girl, but not a goddess. Okay, thank you for sharing that. I mean, it would be really fun to explore stories from other cultures. Because I think this is a really fun way of learning, actually. So, my Japanese friends, if you have a couple of stories that we could do one time, then maybe that would be a kind of nice live stream for us to start off with some stories that we don't know. Or if you come from a different culture with different, stories, then maybe you have some that you can offer to us. Maybe that's something fun. To maybe do that every once in a while. Using an axe on Zeus's head is terrifying. Yeah, like why would you come up with that idea? Oh, you have a headache. Yes, let me just take this axe and chop you in the head. I mean, like what? Yeah. Anyway, not judging, just kind of like, all right. All right. So here we go. We have a splitting headache. To use your head. 3 came out of nowhere, sharp as a tack. And 5 burst onto the scene, not an ox, an axe. Ah, okay, hold on. Let me read your story again. Where was it? It must be here somewhere. Okay, so in Japanese fairy tale, an old man cut the bamboo with axe, and a beautiful girl. Ah, okay, with an axe. So he carved a beautiful baby girl or so. In the story, because I really want to understand, in the Japanese fairy tale, an old man carved bamboo with an axe. So he took an axe and he carved the bamboo. And I guess he created a baby girl, like he made the shape, he carved it to be the shape of a baby girl, but she didn't become a goddess, but a baby girl came out. No. Cut, not curb. Okay. I will change the dog. I would change the doctor too. I would change my friends, right? Because this was probably one of his, or siblings. This was probably one of his siblings who cut him in the head. All right. So, all right. Burst onto the scene. So here are our definitions. Kaluna's already on track here. 1, we have A, to think wisely and make good decisions. B, to suddenly appear without warning. C, extremely intelligent. D, a very strong, painful headache. E, to arrive or appear in a very noticeable way. So everybody's saying so far 1 is D, a splitting headache. D, a very strong, painful headache. Exactly. Oh gosh, I have a splitting headache. I really need to take some aspirin. Okay, so a splitting headache, a very strong headache, or a very bad headache. 2, use your head. Come on, use your head. Which one works best with 2? Not really curved, but carved. But the baby girl was born from the bamboo. So what did he carve? No, not carved. Okay, I'm not sure what he did with the bamboo. I'm a little confused. Maybe you could send me the story and I can take a look at it. Not cut, split. So he split. Now we're on track here. So in a Japanese fairy tale, an old man split some bamboo with an axe, and when it opened up, a baby girl came out of it, and she grew up to be a beautiful woman. Right? So yes, yay, we got it. Thank you for not giving up on me. I sincerely appreciate it. All right. And what is the moral of that story? Is there one? Okay, 2, we have 2 here. Use your head. A, to think wisely and make good decisions. I say this to my kids all the time. You got to use your head. Just use your head. Use your head. Thank you, Hitoko and Yuki. All right, 3, we have guesses coming in with B, came out of nowhere. 3, B, came out of nowhere is correct. To suddenly appear without warning. So Athena came out of nowhere when Zeus's head got split open. Just popped out of nowhere. All right. what do we have for number 4? 1 was D, 2 is A, 3 is B, and 4, what can you tell me? Number 4. Okay, so we have some C's coming in. Natalia, Lorena, all going for C. Kaluna. All right, so everyone's saying C. So 4 is C, exactly. So sharp as a tack. I'm kind of lost here, sorry. 3 was B and 4 is C, exactly. Sharp as a tack, which I'm clearly not right now. Extremely intelligent. Yes. Oh, she is sharp as a tack. She knows everything. I would say Peter, he's sharp as a tack. He knows everything. We call him Mr. Google. And last but not least, 5, to burst onto the scene. We have 5 is E, to arrive or appear in a very noticeable way. So Athena burst onto the scene, popping out of Zeus's head. So you have a lot of times, this might be used with different celebrities. They burst onto the scene, meaning that they became famous very quickly in a big way. So these are some nice little idioms that you can use in different options. And here is our last slide of the day. And here it is. Let's see. Oops. So, and I will stay where I am. I think I'm just fine right here. Yep. Okay, if you could be the god or goddess of something, what would you be? And maybe it's not even on this list. Would you be the god or goddess of peace, technology, food, or fashion? Or what would you make happen? I would definitely not be the goddess of technology. We would get nowhere. That's for sure. The goddess of peace. I would like to be the goddess of peace. Why not? It would be nice. Who was the goddess of love? I think that Lorena and Michaela, who was the goddess of love? Let me see if I have that in my list here. The goddess of love. Let me see. Yes, it was Aphrodite, the goddess of love. So, all right. So we have some answers coming in. So, maybe that's the god, because I think Eros is a man, and then the goddess would be Aphrodite. Aphrodite. Yes, I'm saying that right. Yes, thank you guys. Thank you. A and D, Loreno, she picked that for peace and fashion. Yes, to be a peaceful fashionista. Why not? Absolutely. Anybody else want to offer an answer here? The goddess of peace, love, and healing. Oh, that's nice, Kaluna. Yuki's like, food. Absolutely. Well, you're already the goddess of food, for sure. For sure, for sure. Anybody else have any other fun ones that they would like to be a god or goddess of? What can you tell me? And we will slowly say goodbye. For those of you who aren't part of this community but would like to become one, you are more than welcome to do so. I love having, it seems like we attract a certain type of people, which is wonderful. People who want to learn, people who want to be part of a community, people who are open-minded and want to share what they have going on with their lives and within their country. So if you're one of those people, feel free to follow if you like. And let's see, no other choice for me. Yes, the goddess of nature. Ooh, and I bet the goddess of nature is a beautiful outfit. I can totally see that. All right, so folks, thank you so much for hanging in with me for another long answer for peace as well for Michaela. And so next week we will have the topic, the movie Amelie. Hitoko, don't watch that with your sons. Little warning. If you've not seen that movie, I will go live next Tuesday early with Mike. And I think that I will do the quiz then in the afternoon when the majority of you are usually around. I won't do it right after like I've been doing kind of recently. So we'll talk about the movie Amelie, quiz at 3 p.m. And then on Tuesday, and then on Wednesday, I will then find some sort of topic that relates to Amelie, because it's such a special movie. If you've not already seen it, you should totally check it out. It's so sweet. If you don't watch it necessarily with your kids, there's, a little romance going on in different scenes. as a little warning. But yeah, I look forward to having you here, Kaluna, as well. Our topic, Amelie, the movie Amelie. Thank you, Lorena. Thank you, Natalia. Thank you, Michaela. And our Japanese friends, you stay safe. And yeah, take care. Bye.